Welcome back to the channel NUMISMA Hub Coin Enthusiasts. In today's video, we'll explore the fascinating history of the 1972 United States Kennedy half dollar. From its tribute to President John F. Kennedy to its role in America's transition from silver to clad coinage, this coin carries both historical and collectible value. Let's dive into the story behind this iconic half dollar top 4. Let's get the sad art at first up. The 1972 United States half dollar belongs to the Kennedy half dollar series, which was first introduced in 1964 following the tragic assassination of President John F. Kennedy in November 1963. The coin was created as a national tribute to honor Kennedy's legacy, and it quickly became one of the most iconic coins in American history. By 1972, the Kennedy half dollar had already been in circulation for 8 years and had undergone significant changes in composition due to rising silver prices. When the Kennedy half dollar was first minted in 1964, it was struck in 90% silver and 10% copper. However, the following year in 1965, Congress approved the Coinage Act of 1965, which eliminated silver from circulating dimes and quarters and reduced the silver content of the half dollar to 40%. By 1971, even the 40% silver was removed, and the half dollar was made entirely from a copper-nickel clad composition. Thus, the 1972 half dollar is part of the new era of clad coinage. The obverse front of the 1972 half dollar features the left-facing portrait of President John F. Kennedy, designed by Gilroy Roberts, who was the chief engraver of the U.S. Mint at the time. This portrait was based on a bust that Roberts had previously created for the Kennedy Presidential Medal. The design was quickly approved by Jacqueline Kennedy and the Treasury to immortalize Kennedy's image on the coin. On the obverse, the word Liberty is inscribed around the top edge of the coin, with Kennedy's profile breaking into the letters. Below his neck, the motto "In God We Trust" is divided by the truncation of the portrait, and the year 1972 appears at the bottom. The detail and artistry of Roberts' portrait helped solidify Kennedy's presence as a lasting national symbol on U.S. coinage. The reverse back of the coin was designed by Frank Gaspar, the assistant engraver of the Mint, who later became chief engraver. It depicts the presidential seal with a heraldic eagle holding an olive branch of peace in its right talon and a bundle of 13 arrows in its left, representing strength and military readiness. A circle of 50 stars surrounds the eagle, symbolizing the states of the Union. Above the eagle, the motto "EPLURIBUS UNUM" is inscribed, while United States of America arcs along the top and half dollar is written at the bottom. The 1972 Kennedy half dollar was produced at 3 mints: Philadelphia No Mint Mark, Denver D Mint Mark, and San Francisco S Mint Mark. Philadelphia and Denver struck coins for general circulation, while the San Francisco Mint produced proof coins specifically for collectors. Each mint mark can be found on the obverse side of the coin, just below Kennedy's neck truncation and above the date. The Philadelphia Mint produced the largest share of 1972 half dollars, striking over 153 million coins. The Denver Mint followed closely with around 141 million coins. The San Francisco Mint issued approximately 3.26 million proof coins in 1972, all made with special dies and polished planchets to achieve a mirror-like surface. These proof coins were sold to collectors through the U.S. Mint's proof sets. The composition of the 1972 half dollar is copper-nickel clad, with an outer layer of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to pure copper core. This gave the coin a silvery appearance while remaining affordable for mass production. The coin has a diameter of 30.6 millimeters, a thickness of 2.15 millimeters, and a weight of 11.34 grams, making it one of the largest circulating coins in U.S. currency. By 1972, however, the Kennedy half dollar was already experiencing reduced circulation. Although the coin was widely distributed by banks, the American public tended to hoard them as keepsakes or souvenirs rather than spend them. Many believed the half dollar carried special historical significance because of its association with Kennedy, and this reduced its role in everyday transactions. In terms of design consistency, the 1972 half dollar maintained the same general appearance as earlier issues from 1971. However, certain small variations in striking quality and details make some coins more collectible than others. For example, differences in the sharpness of Kennedy's hair details, the eagle's feathers, and the clarity of inscriptions can affect a coin, appeal to numismatists. One of the most notable varieties of the 1972 half dollar is the 1972 D No FG variety. On some Denver-minted coins, the designer Frank Gasparo's initials FG on the reverse, located just to the right of the eagle's tail feathers, are missing or faint due to die polishing. These error coins are highly collectible and can command premium prices depending on their condition. Another aspect that makes 1972 half dollars interesting to collectors is the overall mintage volume. With nearly 300 million coins struck across all mints, the 1972 issue was one of the most common Kennedy half dollars ever produced. This abundance means that circulated examples are typically only worth face value, but coins in pristine mint state or proof condition can be significantly more valuable. Proof coins from 1972 are especially sought after by collectors. These were struck with extra care, featuring frosted designs that contrast against mirror-like backgrounds. Over the years, some proof coins developed cameo or deep cameo contrasts, which greatly enhance their visual appeal and numismatic value. These designations are particularly important when graded by third-party services. The historical significance of the 1972 half dollar lies not only in its connection to Kennedy, but also in its role as a representation of changing U.S. coinage. The elimination of silver from circulation, coins reflected broader economic realities of the time, including rising silver demand and inflation. The clad Kennedy half dollar became a symbol of modern American coinage entering the 1970s. Collectors often view the 1972 Kennedy half dollar as a staple coin because it is affordable, widely available, and rich in history. While not considered rare, it is an important piece for anyone assembling a complete Kennedy half dollar collection. Its varieties, mint marks, and proof issues add depth and diversity for collectors who wish to explore beyond the standard circulation strikes. Today, the 1972 half dollar remains a reminder of the legacy of John F. Kennedy and the coinage reforms of the mid-20th century. It symbolizes the enduring respect Americans held for their fallen president and highlights the transition from silver to clad coinage in everyday currency. Whether in circulation, tucked away in a collection, or preserved as a proof, the 1972 Kennedy half dollar continues to hold historical and numismatic significance more than 5 decades after its minting. Next up, the 1973 D Kennedy half dollar is part of the American coinage system and holds a unique place in U.S. history. Struck at the Denver Mint, this coin carries the D mint mark and is made from a copper-nickel clad composition. The coin continues the Kennedy half dollar series, which began in 1964 to honor President John F. Kennedy after his tragic assassination in November 1963. The 1973 issue reflects a nation still remembering Kennedy while also adapting to the economic realities of the 1970s. The Kennedy half dollar replaced the Franklin half dollar and was designed with speed, symbolism, and patriotism in mind. Chief engraver Gilroy Roberts created the obverse, featuring a bold left-facing portrait of President Kennedy, while Frank Gasparo designed the reverse, which displays the presidential seal with the eagle holding arrows and an olive branch. This design became one of the most iconic in American coinage, and by 1973 it was still cherished by collectors and the general public. The obverse of the 1973 D half dollar shows Kennedy's profile in fine detail, with the inscriptions "Liberty" and "In God We Trust." The year 1973 sits at the bottom. The D mint mark, denoting the Denver Mint, appears just below Kennedy's neck truncation. This design continued the legacy of Kennedy's powerful image as a symbol of liberty and hope during a decade of political and social transformation. On the reverse, the presidential seal is beautifully rendered, with the heraldic eagle clutching both arrows and an olive branch. Surrounding the eagle are 50 stars representing the states of the Union. The words United States of America and half dollar encircle the design. This patriotic imagery emphasizes both strength and peace, concepts that Kennedy himself represented. By 1973, the half dollar was minted in very large numbers, but circulation had already declined compared to earlier years. Many Americans preferred smaller denominations such as quarters and dimes, while the half dollar was often stored away or collected rather than spent. The Denver Mint struck over 83 million Kennedy half dollars that year, ensuring the coin was widely available. The composition of the 1973 D half dollar is a copper-nickel clad alloy, consisting of an outer layer of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to pure copper core. This transition to clad coinage had occurred in 1971, following the removal of silver from circulating half dollars after 1970. The shift reflected the economic necessity of conserving silver and aligning with modern minting practices. Collectors value the 1973 D half dollar not for its intrinsic metal content, but for its historical significance and condition. High-grade examples, especially those preserved in mint state MS condition, are sought after. Coins with exceptional luster, strong strikes, and minimal contact marks are especially prized by numismatists. An interesting aspect of the 1973 Kennedy half dollar is that it was not included in U.S. mint sets for public circulation in large quantities. The coins minted for circulation were still plentiful, but proof versions were struck separately at the San Francisco Mint. This division between circulation strikes and collector strikes is key to understanding the coin's numismatic value. While the 1973 D half dollar is considered common, condition plays a huge role in determining value. In circulated condition, the coin usually trades for its face value of 50 cents. However, uncirculated examples can bring a small premium, and exceptionally high-grade specimens certified by grading agencies such as PCGS or NGC can fetch significantly more. The Kennedy half dollar also became a symbolic piece for many Americans. In the early 1970s, these coins were often given as keepsakes, gifts, or used in ceremonies. The strong public connection to Kennedy's legacy ensured that the coin held sentimental value beyond its monetary worth. In terms of minting quality, the Denver Mint generally produced strong strikes in 1973, but variations exist. Some coins may show weak details, particularly in Kennedy's hair and the eagle's feathers. Collectors often look closely at these details when assessing a coin's quality and desirability. The 1973 half dollar also holds a place in casino history. During the 1970s, half dollars were widely used in slot machines across Las Vegas and other gambling hubs. Their size and weight made them ideal for this purpose, although later replaced by tokens and paper vouchers. This adds another layer to the cultural history of the coin. Although not a rare date, the 1973 D Kennedy half dollar is essential for completing a Kennedy half dollar collection. Its large mintage ensures accessibility, making it a favorite for beginner collectors who want to build complete Dayton Mintmark sets without spending heavily. The historical context of the early 1970s also adds meaning to the 1973 coin. America was experiencing political shifts, economic challenges, and cultural changes. Through all this, the Kennedy half dollar remained a steady reminder of a youthful president whose vision inspired many. Over time, the Kennedy half dollar series has continued to be minted, though its role in everyday commerce diminished significantly. By the late 20th century, most Americans rarely saw half dollars in circulation, with many coins ending up in collections or vaults. The 1973 D issue thus stands as a reminder of a time when the half dollar still had some presence in daily transactions. Today, the 1973 D Kennedy half dollar remains a historical artifact, representing American resilience, patriotism, and memory. It may not carry silver, but it carries a legacy that connects generations. Whether found in circulation, a collector's album, or passed down as a keepsake, the coin reflects both the artistry of U.S. coinage and the enduring impact of John F. Kennedy on American culture. Next up, the 1985 P half dollar belongs to the Kennedy half dollar series, one of the most iconic coin programs in United States history. Introduced in 1964 as a tribute to the late President John F. Kennedy following his assassination in November 1963, the half dollar quickly became a symbol of national pride and remembrance. The 1985 issue, struck at the Philadelphia Mint, continued this legacy, carrying both historical significance and collectible interest for coin enthusiasts across the nation and beyond. The obverse of the 1985 P half dollar features the profile of John F. Kennedy, designed by Gilroy Roberts, who was the chief engraver of the U.S. Mint at the time. His design captures the youthful and determined image of Kennedy, embodying his role as a modern and visionary leader of the United States during the early 1960s. The obverse inscription includes the word liberty around the upper rim, the motto "In God We Trust" below, and the date 1985 at the bottom. On the reverse, the coin displays the presidential seal, created by Frank Gasparro, another highly respected mint engraver. The design shows a heraldic eagle with a shield across its chest, holding an olive branch in one talon and a bundle of arrows in the other. Above the eagle is a circle of stars representing the original colonies, along with the motto "E Pluribus Unum." The legend United States of America, and the denomination half dollar encircle the design. The Philadelphia Mint, where this coin was struck, is the oldest minting facility in the United States. In 1985, Philadelphia coins were identified by the P mint mark, a practice that had been used since 1980 on half dollars. Prior to that, coins from Philadelphia carried no mint mark. The 1985 P half dollar therefore is an important continuation of this newer mint mark tradition, making it easy for collectors to identify the coin's origin. The composition of the 1985 P half dollar is a copper-nickel-clad mixture, consisting of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to an inner core of pure copper. This change in metallic content had been implemented in 1971 after the mint discontinued the use of silver in circulating half dollars. Thus, the 1985 half dollar represents a modern coinage era where durability and affordability were prioritized over intrinsic metal value. One of the reasons why the 1985 half dollar does not commonly appear in circulation today is the declining popularity of the denomination itself. By the 1980s, half dollars were not widely used in everyday commerce, as smaller denominations such as the quarter and dollar bills proved more convenient. As a result, most half dollars went directly into storage at banks or into the hands of collectors rather than into general circulation. The mintage of the 1985 p half dollar was relatively high, with tens of millions produced to meet anticipated demand. Despite this, the actual circulation use was limited, meaning that many coins were preserved in better condition than expected. For collectors, this results in the availability of uncirculated and high-grade specimens without extreme difficulty. From a historical perspective, the 1985 half dollar reflects the mid-1980s period in the United States, a decade marked by economic recovery, technological growth, and cultural shifts. While not directly tied to any major commemorative event, the continued production of Kennedy half dollars kept alive the memory of President Kennedy's contributions to American society, particularly his leadership during the Cold War and his inspiring vision for progress. In the numismatic community, the 1985 p half dollar holds significance for registry set collectors and enthusiasts seeking to assemble complete runs of Kennedy half dollars. Condition, strike quality, and mintmark variations play an important role in determining the desirability of each coin. The Philadelphia Mint issues are often judged against Denver Mint counterparts to compare sharpness of detail and overall eye appeal. Proof versions of the 1985 Kennedy half dollar were also produced, but these were struck at the San Francisco Mint with an S mint mark, using specially prepared dies and planchets. The Philadelphia circulation strike coins, however, remain distinct as the workhorses intended for commerce, even though most never reach the pockets of ordinary Americans. Collectors often examine the 1985 p half dollar for die varieties, errors, and anomalies. Examples include doubled dies, off-center strikes, and planchet flaws. Such varieties can significantly increase the value of an otherwise common coin, as they represent unique minting occurrences that appeal to specialized numismatists. The coin's large size, 36 mm in diameter, makes it a favorite among collectors who appreciate substantial coins with a strong visual presence. The edge of the coin is reeded, a feature designed historically to prevent clipping or shaving of precious metal content, though on clad coins like the 1985 half dollar, it remains more of a traditional design element than a practical necessity. While the 1985 p half dollar is not rare in circulated condition, higher-grade examples certified by grading services like PCGS or NGC can command premium prices. Coins graded at MS66 or above are particularly desirable due to the difficulty of finding flawless surfaces and sharp strikes. Luster and eye appeal often play a major role in how collectors value the coin. In terms of symbolism, the Kennedy half dollar series, including the 1985 p, stands as a constant reminder of American ideals of liberty, unity, and leadership. The pairing of Kennedy's portrait and the presidential seal reflects not just a tribute to one man, but a celebration of the office of the presidency and the democratic traditions of the United States. Today, the 1985 p half dollar continues to circulate in the numismatic world as part of collections, albums, and educational displays. It is an accessible coin for new collectors, offering both affordability and a direct connection to American history. Its presence in coin rolls, estate collections, and mint sets ensures that it remains a popular and easily obtainable piece. Ultimately, the 1985 p Kennedy half dollar is a blend of modern coinage technology, historical remembrance, and collectible interest. While not a key rarity in the series, it embodies the enduring appeal of the Kennedy half dollar program and serves as a piece of mid-20th century American memory carried forward into the modern era. Its legacy, much like that of John F. Kennedy himself, continues to resonate with collectors and admirers of U.S. history. Next up, the 1978 United States half dollar belongs to the Kennedy half dollar series, which was first introduced in 1964 to honor President John F. Kennedy after his tragic assassination in November 1963. The decision to place Kennedy's portrait on the half dollar was made quickly, as a way to immortalize the late president's image on a circulating coin. By 1978, the Kennedy half dollar had already become a well-established coin in American numismatics, carrying both historical and cultural value. The obverse of the 1978 half dollar features the left-facing portrait of John F. Kennedy, designed by Chief Engraver Gilroy Roberts. This portrait is based on the inaugural Medal of Kennedy and symbolizes both liberty and leadership. The word liberty arcs around the top, while the national motto, "In God We Trust," appears beneath Kennedy's chin. The date 1978 is struck below the bust, completing the classical design that emphasizes American ideals. On the reverse, the coin features the presidential seal, created by Frank. This design includes a heraldic eagle holding an olive branch in its right talon, symbolizing peace, and arrows in its left talon, representing strength and readiness to defend the nation. Above the eagle's head is a ring of stars symbolizing the states, with the motto EPLURIBUSUNUM inscribed on a flowing ribbon. Around the outer edge appears the inscription United States of America and the denomination $half. By 1978, the Kennedy half-dollar was struck at two major U.S. mints, Philadelphia and Denver. The Philadelphia coins bore no mint mark, while the Denver issues carried the D mint mark. San Francisco produced proof versions of the coin bearing an S mint mark. These variations made collecting the half-dollar an engaging pursuit for both amateur and advanced numismatists. The composition of the 1978 half-dollar was copper-nickel clad, consisting of an outer layer of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to pure copper core. This replaced the earlier 90% silver composition, 1964, and the later 40% silver coins, 1965-1970. By the late 1970s, silver was reserved for special collector coins, and everyday circulation relied on the durable clad composition. The 1978 Kennedy half-dollar weighs 11.34 grams, measures 30.6 millimeters in diameter, and has a reeded edge. Its physical size made it one of the largest circulating coins of the era, though by the late 1970s its actual use in everyday commerce had diminished. Many Americans viewed the half-dollar as inconvenient compared to quarters and dollar bills, which led to lower circulation levels. Despite its limited use in daily transactions, the half-dollar remained a symbol of honor to President Kennedy and was often given as gifts, stored as keepsakes, or used in casinos. The coin's association with Kennedy helped preserve its importance beyond practical spending. Many families in the 1970s and 1980s would keep rolls or individual coins as mementos of the president. The mintage of the 1978 half-dollar was substantial. The Philadelphia Mint produced over 15 million coins, while the Denver Mint struck nearly 34 million. Additionally, the San Francisco Mint produced about 3.1 million proof coins for collectors. These large mintages ensured the coin was widely available, though its role in actual circulation was already declining. Collectors of the Kennedy half-dollar often seek out coins in high-grade mint state condition. For the 1978 issues, coins with sharp strikes, strong luster, and no significant bag marks are valued most highly. Proof coins from San Francisco, especially those with deep cameo contrast, are particularly desirable to coin enthusiasts. While not considered rare, the 1978 half-dollar plays an important role in completing sets of Kennedy half-dollars. Its affordability makes it an excellent entry point for new collectors. Many collectors enjoy assembling year-by-year collections, including both circulation strikes and proof issues, and the 1978 coin fits neatly into this broader narrative. Historically, the late 1970s were a period of transition for U.S. coinage. The United States Mint was experimenting with new denominations, such as the Susan B. Anthony dollar in 1979, which ultimately affected how the public used larger coins. The Kennedy half-dollar, although still struck, saw a continued decline in circulation, cementing its role more as a collector's coin than a transactional one. The 1978 half-dollar also reflects broader economic realities. Rising inflation and changing consumer habits made smaller denominations more practical, while larger coins like the half-dollar felt outdated in everyday commerce. Nonetheless, the coin's legacy and connection to Kennedy preserved its annual production, ensuring it remained part of the nation's circulating coinage. From a numismatic perspective, the 1978 Kennedy half-dollar offers insight into both American culture and coin collecting trends. It represents a time when coins were transitioning from being everyday necessities to becoming collectors' items and historical keepsakes. The Kennedy half-dollar, with its strong ties to American memory and patriotism, embodied this shift better than most denominations. The symbolism of liberty on the 1978 half-dollar is especially significant. Kennedy's portrait stood as a modern interpretation of liberty and leadership, while the heraldic eagle on the reverse carried forward traditional American values of strength, unity, and peace. Together, the designs symbolized the enduring principles of freedom and democracy during a changing era in U.S. history. Today, the 1978 half-dollar continues to circulate occasionally, but is most often encountered in coin collections, rolls, or old banks' vaults. For many Americans, it is a nostalgic piece reminding them of a different era, when Kennedy's legacy was still fresh and coins carried more symbolic weight. The fact that it remains relatively inexpensive also allows new generations to explore its history without financial barriers. In conclusion, the 1978 United States Kennedy half dollar is more than just a piece of currency. It is a blend of history, memory, and symbolism. It reflects America's respect for John F. Kennedy, the evolving nature of coinage in the late 20th century, and the enduring ideals of liberty and unity. While not rare, its presence in American numismatics continues to hold significance, ensuring that this coin remains a respected part of the nation's monetary history.